Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Namaskaram to Asthikas. Having understood that in the guise of renovation, HR&CE department was demolishing and greatly altering temples, modifying structures, removing old wooden doors which are several centuries old and replacing them with new ones, damaging sculptures, erasing murals, etc., and having understood that demolitions happen as per the advice of mumbo jumbos, and having understood that various aspects of temples like pujas and festivals are governed by Agama Shastras, and that the department had not even consulted a tiny bit with Agama Shastra experts, and further having understood that the department went ahead to demolish century old temples based on the so called expert advice of self appointed archaeological consultants, and having understood that HR&C department has not even got a little bit understanding on how to conserve heritage structures, the Honorable Madras High Court banned demolition and renovation by the HR&C department in Hindu temples of Tamil Nadu on 30th November 2015. Details of this formed part of earlier broadcasts. Here we go with the third one. The HR&C department thought that it cleverly misguided the Honorable High Court when it submitted to the court that they do not have a conservation manual and projected that as the sole reason for the mistakes the department committed. The good thing is that this department admitted that they made mistakes. The Honorable Chief Justice ordered this department to consult UNESCO for its expertise, get inputs from all the petitioners and other stakeholders of the temple, to consult with Agama Shastra experts when they prepare a conservation manual. Well, if someone gives a 150-page document or book in today's fast world, we all know that no one has the time to go through such a document. HR&C has understood that this attitude of many of us thoroughly. Many issues in our country is because of the fact that many of us are ignorant of the laws of the land, what we can expect from a government employee and a department, and what the responsibilities of such an employee and the department and their accountability to help us, and our ignorance is in our basic rights. Corruption is also more because of this reason. Notwithstanding that, even when all devotees see the inconvenience caused by the renovation, no one opposed it. No one wrote a complaint on the numerous damages that this department went about committing in the temples in front of their own eyes. Therefore, thinking that this time around as well that everyone will be lazy, the commissioner filed a false affidavit, that too in the Madras High Court, that too to the first bench comprising of the Honorable Chief Justice. One can only assume that this was because of their egoistic attitude, which led them to state that UNESCO is not having any office in India when they themselves, in the distant and recent past, have worked with UNESCO. The shabby manual was presented to the court along with this affidavit. The department continued, though, with its renovation work with a careless attitude defying the court order. They thought the courts may not have time to physically check these temples. However, acting as the eyes of the Honorable Court, the petitioners continued to bring these to the notice of the Honorable High Court by filing contempt petitions for many temples. When even this department is unaware of the laws and acts governing temples, the department is confident that ignorant archakas and devotees would never understand the laws. Maybe the confidence that this department had on devotees like us led the commissioner to file such a false affidavit. Okay, what does the law say? Before we get into that, we need to know what Agama Shastra says. Let's spend a few minutes on that. Agama Shastra is a very vast subject and describes, among many, how to identify a site to construct the temple, in which architecture should the temple be built, the physical characteristics of the Mula Murti, the presiding god, what kind of decorations must be done, with what materials should the temple be built. Once the Prana Pratishtha is done, how to do daily pujas, periodic pujas, and conduct festivals, etc., and also describes how to go about them. There is little chance that many would know about these aspects of a temple. Agamas are many. Based on the philosophy, there are Vaishnava, Saiva, and Shakta Agamas for the respective temples. Vaishnava temples follow either Pancharatra or Vaikanasa Agama, which are broad classifications under which there are many Agamas. Saiva temples follow one of many Saiva Agamas, and the same is true for Shakta temples. In the bygone days, a temple was not just considered as a place of worship, they were seen as an agent which binds and integrates the society, as an educational institution, as an institution that promotes art, as a force which drives the economy of the community, etc. But today, no one sees temples as anything remotely connected to education. This is the reason why many of us do not even know the existence of Agama Shastras, the very Shastras that governs the temple that we visit every day. Also, many of us think that the Garbhagriha is the only holy part of a temple. Agama Shastras, however, consider each and every part of the temple, be it mandapas, pillars, paintings, wells, ponds, nandavanams, doors, etc., as holy. Agama Shastras invoke the corresponding devatas into these structures during consecration, which is when the holiness of the temple grows multifold. Agama Shastras explain how to do all these things and more. While in today's world, many of us think that that going to a college and studying engineering for 4 years is education, we do not understand the importance of Agama Shastras and the difficulties in learning it. Moreover, kids of today revolt when they were asked to do certain things and not to do certain things. They claim that things were forced upon them and their freedom is invaded upon. Let's look at how Agama Shastra education is. Agama Shastras have complicated procedures and rules which ensures that the religious and philosophical aspects for which the temple was built is kept intact, and to study such one has to really toil very hard with infinite patience and discipline for many years and assist someone for several years before they gain the necessary skills to manage a temple. Not just that the skills that were acquired are to be carried out not, throughout the life of the Archaka, unlike the modern education where one studies mechanical engineering and joins a software company and forgets all that he read in mechanical engineering and also do not know anything about software. It is also a joke that many think managing a temple from religious perspective is something anyone can do. Not so. Agama Shastras started to vanish slowly from temples because of the lack of knowledge on its importance. When things happen that should not have, called dosha, Agama Shastras specify how to rectify such things and perform Kumbhabhisheka as prayaschitta according to the intensity of the dosha. For example, Agama Shastras say that dosha occurs when blood is spilt in the temple, when someone enters the temple who are forbidden to do so for a specified period of time after a birth or death in their family, when women who are in their periods enter into the temple, when damages occur in temple structures or deities, when there are mistakes in pujas and rituals, when someone urinates or defecates inside a temple, when a child is born inside the temple premises, or when someone dies inside a temple premises, when animals like dogs, foxes, donkeys enter the temple, when birds like crows, vultures, etc., enter into the temple. When such a dosha occurs, Agama Shastra dictates that an appropriate samprakshana be done based on the intensity of the dosha as prescribed by the sacred texts as prayashchittas for doing such a mistake. But today, those who do not know ABCD of Agama Shastras spread a lie that every temple must be renovated every 12 years and claim that this is what is said in Agama Shastras and they loot our temples. Agama Shastras come down heavily on not just the person who does renovation when there are no damages in any structure, but also the society and the country. This is what happens in today's renovation in many temples that is done by the department. It is also considered a great sin to do so, that is to renovate structures that do not have any damages. Agamas says if someone commits such a sin, then society will experience increase in famine and drought, resulting in people suffering from hunger and diseases, etc. Maybe this is the reason why we witness very heavy floods in cities and no rains in delta areas like Tanjavur that we witnessed in the past 2 years in Tamil Nadu. We will never know. Well, only because temples cease to be educational institutions, we are in a state where we do not know anything about Agama Shastras. The small intro in Agama is necessary to be given in order to understand the intensity of the ongoing legal case and hence was presented to you. I can understand that everyone is eager to know the reason to why the Commissioner HR&C gave an unconditional apology and why the Honorable Court came down heavily stating that it will abrogate HR&C. I request you to wait till tomorrow to hear these and more. In the meantime, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel www.tinyurl.com/our temples our pride, that is www.tinyurl.com/OURTEMPLESOURPRIDE, where the audio broadcasts are hosted. You can also write to our temples our pride at gmail.com, that is OURTEMPLESOURPRIDE at gmail.com, with your questions and doubts. See you tomorrow. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.